So we're frustrated. We've lost to Reading. It's in a game that we controlled for long spells and had lots of half-decent opportunities without being clear-cut, and yet we're a bit bemused how we lost that game really tonight, but we have to accept it, and we have.
Blackburn Rovers' ambitious playoff hopes have come to a crashing halt as they lose to struggles Reading at the Mowbray, and we'll talk about it next. That's right, folks, back once again with another match review, this time looking back at Blackburn Rovers' third defeat on the spin, that's right, up against Reading, and we'll get to that in just 1 second. If you're new to the channel, smash the old subscribe, it'll keep you bang up to date with all things flipping Blackburn Rovers related, championship related, whoa, football related, we've got it all here under one roof. Now let's take a look, let's dissect it, the shambolic Rovers, which is what we are at the moment, absolutely shambolic, losing to two teams towards the bottom end of the table. And also sandwiched in between that is a defeat against Red Hot Reading as well. A Red Hot Bristol City. 2-1 final score in the end at the Mowbray. Goals from Swift for Reading to make it 1-0. Actually, Amari Bell made it a little bit interesting towards the back end of it with the 82nd minute leveller. But for Oliviera scored the winner for Reading. 2-1. Just noticed here that Steve Martin, not the comedian, but Steve Martin was the referee for this one as Reading got themselves a valuable win and get themselves out the old drop zone, and Rovers continue their woeful form. We'll have a look at the table, what that's done to it a little bit later on. But it was not good. In fact, to be honest with you, a questionable lineup, perhaps a lot of people would say, between with Dack on the bench, Graham on the bench, Reed on the bench. Is that fitness-wise, injury-wise? What's the plan behind that? Who knows? But ultimately, we got unstuck in a bit of a kind of a weird formation as well for us, going for the 4-3-3 with three very cautious central midfielders here. Obviously, against a formation that we usually play against, the 4-2-3-1. But we got found out today, ultimately, as but we did try. We were the better side in the first half. But ultimately, it doesn't matter how much possession you have, how many shots you have. It's about getting the ball in the back of the net, and Reading did that at the 46th minute, right on the stroke of half-time, which would have changed their ethos going into half-time. You know, the team talk would have been a lot more uplifting. Rovers, on the other hand, it will be a bit more of a hairdryer treatment from Mowbray. But it did work to a bit of effect in the second half. It was a more open game. Reading were a bit more adventurous as well, looking for a second, and they could have had it as well with Maita. Substitute Maita had a couple of efforts to wrap this game up before we made it a little bit interesting. But ultimately, we weren't good enough today. Even with the introduction of Rothwell, Graham, and Dack from the bench, it never changed it. It was all. We're always chasing the game, even at one game or one goal all. It was a race, and we lost. Quick look at some of the stats down here. We had 15 shots compared to their 12. We had more possession, 54% to their 46. We had a better success rate with passing as well, but they were more successful with dribbles and aerial tackles. We had more corners, but we were dispossessed more times than they were. Anyway, let's take a look at the starting 11s first and foremost. Reading, Martinez in between the sticks, Blackett, Moore, Mugaza, Yidam, Swift, Kelly, Luco, Richards, Ijara, and Oliviera up front. The difference maker, he was wearing his mask after his incident with Tyrone Mings a couple of weeks ago. But yeah, he was the difference maker, scoring the winner, but he also had a long-range effort, Beckham-esque, from the halfway line in the first half. But yeah. In fact, in the match preview, actually, I predicted a starting 11, which had the back six there. The forward four were completely different. So, interesting. Anyway, as for Rovers, like I said, different sort of formation. 4-3-3 for us today with Armstrong up front alongside Conway. Brereton got his second start, I think. Evans, Smallwood, Travis, Bell, Rodwell, Mulgrew, Bennett, and David Rye between sticks. And this is my match ratings. Rye with a 5. Really could have done a lot better with some of those the goals, really. Murray Bell got a 7, obviously scored the goal, and I thought he was very busy up and down the left-hand side, creating a lot of chances. Much more productive than Elliot Bennett. But Elliot Bennett did do a couple of goal-clearing chances to deny Reading. Rodwell and Mulgrew with 5s and centre-backs. It just goes to show Rodwell's had a couple good games. But now he's had a couple of turkeys as well. It's actually 3 turkeys on the spin for our defence. Really, it's very worrying. But let me finish the ratings. Evans with a 5, Small with a 6, Travis with a 5, Coleman with a 6, Armstrong with a 6, Brereton with a 7. Okay, so I did ramble on a little bit in the older initial review, and I'm going to talk about it again. We need to start planning for the future. The future is Ben Brereton. I know a lot of people ain't going to like that, hearing that, but £7 million we spent. We're going to be building our team around that fella. Dack perhaps is going to be involved in that, maybe not, but we've got a plan to build it around Brereton, 19 years old, 18, 19, whatever he is, and Armstrong as well, very young, but we need to I think gut some of this over the summer. Conway, I even called it last season that he should be done. He had a couple of moments so far this season, but I think ultimately he's done for at the end of this. And that's the worry, though. It's good camaraderie amongst the boys, and that might get broken up a little bit over the summer. But we should part ways with some of these fan favourites, because the performances is becoming clearer and clearer every week now. Up against sides all over the table. That are we good enough? I think, we're good enough to be in this division, but are we? If we realistically think, if the fans realistically think we're top 6, I think that we're kidding ourselves a little bit, because we're not. We've been fortunate a lot along the ways to get where we are, but now as the season wears on, it's going to get harder and harder and harder. I'm not saying we're not going to win any more games, or we're not going to be in the top half. We hopefully will be, but we need to prepare for next season, because it's going to be another season back in the Championship for us. Because there is realistically only one spot that's probably up for grabs, and that's 6th spot, and we're already a bit away from that. Anyway, I'm rambling already too much. Anyway, look at these shots here. Look at the orange ones. That long ranger, that is from Oliviera, and that was at the first half. Yeah, we did try and pepper the goal, but ultimately we didn't have the final touch today. We had more touches than Reading, 516. We had more. We had more touches, 706 to their 650. We had more passes, 516 to their 448. And down the bottom there, you can see a little summary where all the shots took place. If you're a heat map man just like me, as you can see, it looked like Reading were camping out in their half, as there are a lot of red pockets back there. As the Rovers seem to be pressing down the right hand side a lot, and that was with Bennett and Armstrong. I think Armstrong was flip flopping with Conway. I saw Conway on the left a lot of the time. In fact, Armstrong, it looks like he was playing down the middle, but it didn't feel like that. It did not feel like Armstrong was the centre man for me, because he was all over the shop. Anyway, let's have a look at what else went on in the Championship. As you can tell, it's a funny old league. Bristol City continued to win, though, 2-1. West Brom and Nottingham Forest had a 2-2 draw. Brentford upset Aston Villa to continue their rise up the table. Preston upset Norwich 3-1 at Deepdale. Leeds continued to press. Ipswich got a 1-1 draw against Derby. And Sheffield United also continued to be up against our next opponents, Middlesbrough. So that's going to be a little bit tasty as well. Wigan and Stoke drew. And what has that done to the table? Well, Leeds are now top of the pops by 1 point. Norwich in second. Sheffield United breathing down the necks, though, in third. West Brom in fourth. Bristol City up to fifth. Middlesbrough in 6th. As for the bottom 3, Ipswich, Bolton and Rotherham are doomed at the moment. Reading get themselves out of it with that massive win for them. Hopefully they can... they're good enough. They're good enough to stay in this division. They should be a lot higher. I think those 3 down there is probably what's going to happen. I think those 3 are going to go down. Bolton, Ipswich, Rotherham. I really want Wigan to go down. I'm putting all my cards on the table. As for Rovers, we are in 14th now in the bottom half. Preston above us on goal difference. We have a -6 goal difference. -6. However, this is the silver lining, folks. We'll have a look what goes on else this weekend. We do take on Middlesbrough, who are in that 6th spot. A win for us on Sunday will put us up to 46 points, which would leave Middlesbrough on 51 points, which would leave us 5 points off the drop, off the top 6. Yeah, so it doesn't feel great. Also, a little highlight: we've won just as many as we've lost so far. So yeah, we're around about mid-table. But we need to get more wins. Anyway, what else is going to go on this weekend? It's actually FA Cup weekend, so a bit of a hodgepodge weekend. Not all the teams are in action. We are playing on Sunday. In fact, there's some games going on midweek as well next week. But Rotherham take on Sheff Wed. Ipswich against Stoke. Preston against Nottingham Forest. Bolton against Norwich. Sheffield United against Reading. Derby, Millwall, QPR, West Brom. Now, I have a little bit what I have to say about the match. What did the gaff have to say shortly after the final whistle? Here's Tony Mowbray with his thoughts. It's not good, folks. Not good.
My performance was very good. I thought we controlled it for long spells. And yet, we didn't get any points. So obviously we're disappointed, but I think performance-wise, it was okay. Controlled it. Didn't have end product in the final third. The last 20 metres wasn't very good. I think they probably had 3 shots and scored 2 goals. Which is a huge frustration for us, but yes, performance level was good. We thought we worked really hard. I just think in the last 20 metres we lacked the quality today. Probably too many crosses over the bar, too many crosses not picking men out in the middle. But yeah, so we left frustrated again. Yeah, and I don't know. That's why I've said to the team there, your performance level stays as high as that, you'll win plenty of games from now to the end of the season. But it wasn't as if we peppered their goal with shots, but we got into some great areas. We controlled the game. At times we were breaking 4v2 and still couldn't pick the right pass. Stuff we'd worked on this week. Listen, that's football. It's, we've been a team struggling in the bottom 2 or 3 of a league, and you have to dig in and fight hard, and they hung on grim life tonight, I think, and ultimately it won't be the quality from the centre forward who's got some quality. We paid the price. I think the confidence is there. You see, the confidence was there. There's no short of confidence tonight. The team were on the front foot, played decent football, just couldn't pick that final pass from being in some great positions. Confidence is okay. I'm putting it into context of where we are as a football club. We're doing okay. Let's not get down that we've lost some games. I think there's an expectation that the team built up, and yet there's no problem. I will keep them going. We've got a massive game on Sunday to look forward to. We're going to win plenty of games if that's our performance level, and so we just keep going. We'll be fine, and just look forward to the next match. Okay, in flashes, we know. I've said to you for a long time. To be honest, Ben Brereton's got lots of quality. I see it every day in training. He's just a boy who we are excited about for the future. Looking forward to him becoming a regular player in our team. And yet, at this moment, we have to be patient. But he's a really exciting prospect. And he finds it hard to get in front of Dack and Graham. Tonight, with the games programme that we've got 3 games this week. Danny Graham's 33-year-old. Bradley Dack's been carrying a knock. He didn't even train the last few days. It was only today that we decided he would be okay for the bench. So, and as I said, we've got a home game, and our record at home's okay, but we have to get back on to winning ways. We've got a really tough game on Sunday, and I thought we could come here and more than compete, and I thought we did that more than compete without Graham and Dack today. And yet, as I said earlier, maybe that final piece of the jigsaw, the final 20 yards, wasn't what we might have hoped. He was tired. He hasn't played. He's been booked as well, and as you get tired, sometimes you do lazy challenges, and so there was no problem. I thought the players we've got sitting on the bench behind us are good players, and they need an opportunity as well. So. No, we're frustrated. We've lost to Reading. It's in a game that we controlled for long spells and had lots of half-decent opportunities without being clear-cut, and yet we're a bit bemused how we lost that game really tonight. But we have to accept it, and we have.
Now you've heard what the gaffers had to say, you've heard what I've had to say. Now what did the fans say on social media? Well, let's take a little look on Twitter. Tom Schofield said this. Wow, I was watching the same... Tom Schofield said this. Was I watching the same game as some? Genuinely thought Brereton had good game. Was good with the ball at feet and looked to create chances. Armour plays a good pass. Then he opens his Rovers account. Travis was poor, but no one is allowed to criticise him, are they? Meanwhile, Matt Hornby said this. Shocking decision making tonight. Resting our best players for 50 minutes of a game. Resting for what? These are the games we need to pick up points. It's stupid. Becky said this. Last few games I've been disappointed. Hopefully we'll go back to winning ways On Sunday, meanwhile, the ever-vocal Mike Delap says this. Not sure I buy this. Some of the players looked like they didn't care. Absolute nonsense. You hear most after most defeats. Closing down, pressing, and 5 charging the 18-yard box before Reading smashed it upfield for their second effort was there. Quality was not. Hashtag Rovers. Northern Rovers said this. More points dropped. Just cannot defend and keep conceding poor goals. So frustrating. Meanwhile, Liz Lewis said this. I just feel a bit sad. I don't think we're in a crisis. It's in no way comparable to the collapse at Brentford or the dire 45 on Saturday. I stand by my thoughts from Sunday that if the key players are injured, rested, we struggle. Indeed, if we do not have Dack or DG up top, and even Harrison Reed, there is a lack of quality going forward. You know, yeah, Armstrong can score goals, but he's scoring goals with the supporting cast on the field. You know, we had to rely on Amari Bell today to get the ball in the back of the nets, and that's a left back who hardly ever scores goals. Andrew Wilding said this. Sorry guys, but that just wasn't good enough. We cannot start lapsing on games. Unfortunately, tonight was proved we are dependent in individuals like Dack and Graham. Armour done very well, but Brereton needs to go to under 23s to get game time for confidence. Luke Thornley said this. There needs to be an overhaul in the summer. A lot of these players are simply not good enough at the championship level. Take away Graham, Dack, Armstrong, Mowbray, and maybe Reed. The goals and quality is in short supply right now. This will need addressing at the end of the season. Ian Tomlinson said this. Announced that the season has ended. 4 wins, then 3 defeats. We are where we should be, but could have been much higher or better. I asked in the early season if last season's heroes were good enough for the step up, and it looks like not enough of them are. Meanwhile, we are the Rovers. Mr. Mac84 said this. Without being too frustrated, you've got to ask, why such lethargy? 2 or 3 tonight, really wanted that. The rest looked directionless, as though they were on the beach. Tony Mowbray has done a great job so far, but a few players need a wake-up call, and Connor D. Goodwin said this. Garbage. Feel sorry for the 600 that's gone and made that trip. And John Wilson said this. Either the mentality or fitness or both of the squad is shit. How do we concede after the 85th minute every other game? Blooming sick of it, he says. And if that's what they have to say, what do you guys have to say? Drop your own comments down in the section below, and we can have a good old look at it and see what you guys have to think. But ultimately, that's pretty much all I've got for you today, folks. If you enjoyed the video, please give it a good old thumbs up. And if you're new, smash your subscribe. It'll keep you bang up to date with all things Blackburn Rovers related, Championship related, world football related. We got it all here under one roof. And we will be back again on Sunday, front of the sky cameras, against playoff-bound Middlesbrough. Now, yeah. Let's just take a little backseat role here. You know, obviously everyone, including myself, had playoff dreams, but realistically, if we had managed, I know people may even still think that we have a chance, but if we had managed to get that 6th spot, do we ultimately think we would have beaten the likes of Sheffield United or West Brom, or I know we beaten West Brom, yeah, or whoever else is in that playoff mix? Realistically, you know, and what, you know, just to get to the playoffs, only to get to be defeated straight away or in the final or whatever. I know we would have had a chance to get to the Premier League, fair dues, but ultimately it's going to be a long shot. I think if we're going to go up, we need to go up automatically. We need to do a Cardiff. We need to do a Sheffield United next year, something like that. We need to plan accordingly. We need squad depth, just like Reading did today. I predicted a completely different quartet up front. And that goes to show we need to have a good, strong enough squad to be able to rotate players. We are playing pretty much the same players week in, week out. Dack, Graham, Evans, Bell, Rodwell, not even Rodwell, even Mowbray. You know, we're just churning them out. If we had a squad of 22, 24 players that we can rotate a little bit, you know, freshen up, add a bit more competition, then I think we'll be in much better shape than we are right now. We are relying on 11 or 12 bodies that we mostly had from last season. So we need Mowbray. I've just combined. I've just made a morph to play a person here. But Mowbray needs to bring in some players over the summer. He needs to improve the size of the squad, improve competition for places, especially up front, especially in defence. We overloaded in midfield. We got no wingers. So ultimately, there's a lots of patches in there that need fixing. Chapman is an option for next year. he might get some game time later on season. But ultimately, we need to improve the depth. Anyway, I've rambled and ranted on a little bit too much. It's not good. 3 defeats on the spin. Can we start flipping the switch against Middlesbrough on Sunday in front of the Sky cameras? Maybe Dack will turn on the flare. He likes to do that when the Sky cameras are there. Anyway, I'm going to let you get out of here until I see you again. We'll be back again very soon, 24 hours or less, with the match preview from Borough. Till then, ciao for now. Thanks again for watching. Please like, share, and most importantly, hit the subscribe button to keep you bang up to date with all things Blackburn Rovers related, Championship related, football related. We've got it all covered right under one roof. And while I still have you, please be sure to check out some of the old videos scattered along here. I hope.